Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, if you could smash the subscribe button and also if you guys could hit the like, it really helps me out. Anyway, according to an article on Boxing Scene, Oleksandr Usyk versus Dereck Chisora could actually take place in Saudi Arabia. Now, this would be if Saudi Arabia comes out of the coronavirus lockdown ahead of the UK. Now, this sort of news will disappoint a lot of UK fans. Ultimately, we would like these fights to take place in the UK, but given the circumstances, if this were to happen, me personally, I really wouldn't have any issues with it at all. Ultimately, as a fight fan, I want to see boxing as soon as possible. I'm really missing it personally, so if this were to happen and it resulted in the fight happening sooner, then I would be all for it. That's my selfish perspective as a fan. Now, let's say this did happen, hypothetically, who would this favour in regards to the actual fighters? I actually believe it would favour Oleksandr Usyk, to be honest. Dereck Chisora is a guy who, in my opinion, gets up for the big occasion. And hypothetically, if this fight were to take place in Saudi Arabia, the atmosphere in Saudi Arabia for this type of fight, in my opinion, would not be close to the atmosphere that the O2 Arena in London would produce. And I think Dereck Chisora is a guy who really thrives off that occasion, that buzz. You know, we saw his performance against Carlos Takam in the UK. You know, he performed really well and the crowd really motivated him. Even in his two losing efforts against Dillian Whyte, he was really charged up for those fights due to the crowd, you know, due to the atmosphere. Saudi Arabia more than likely isn't going to produce that sort of atmosphere, and potentially that could result in a flat Dereck Chisora, a guy who's going through the motions, not really forcing the issue, not really applying the pressure that he should be applying. I mean, we saw when Dereck Chisora went out to Monaco against Ajit Kabayel, Chisora lost that fight, he got outboxed, and he looked so flat, he looked terrible. And that fight was basically in a casino with a couple of hundred people. The atmosphere was terrible, there was no buzz, and it looked like Dereck just wasn't up for the fight. Now, I know obviously Usyk is a much bigger fish than Ajit Kabayel, so there should be more motivation from Chisora to really put in a good performance just because you're fighting a pound for pound level guy in Oleksandr Usyk. So in theory, just based on that, Chisora's motivation should be there, and maybe it will be there, but I do truly believe Dereck Chisora is a guy who thrives off of the crowd. You know, he's that sort of fighter, he gets energy from the atmosphere in the building. Again, we've seen that in the Dillian Whyte fights, the Carlos Takam fight. Even if you go way back in Dereck's career, the Vitaliy Klitschko fight, everybody in that arena wanted Dereck to get knocked out. He was public enemy number one, but he thrived off that and put in a half-decent performance. Don't get me wrong, he soundly got outboxed by Vitaliy Klitschko, but you could tell there was energy in his work. There was a pep in his step kind of thing. And yeah, like I say, I just believe Dereck is that sort of fighter who thrives off of atmosphere, and in Saudi Arabia I just don't think that atmosphere will be there, in all honesty. And for me, this fight in Saudi Arabia does favour Oleksandr Usyk. You know, if Dereck's not motivated, if he can't get up for it, then this will be an easy fight for Oleksandr Usyk. He'll pepper him, step around him, and basically make him look like a clumsy oaf. That's what will happen if Dereck isn't motivated. And this fight potentially being in Saudi Arabia, maybe Dereck won't be as motivated as he should be. Anyway, share your thoughts below. First and foremost, would you accept this fight being in Saudi Arabia? Would it really bother you? And as for the fight itself, do you believe it favours anybody? Like I say, me personally, I believe it favours Oleksandr Usyk for this fight to be in Saudi Arabia. But I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. Share your thoughts below. Peace.